We're letting your followers. You've started a live video. So.
You might want to tell. I'll put the music on in the background.
Yeah. Hey, so. All right, we're live a little bit early. Just watching the women's. And. Close heat. Don't worry about that, babe. Close heat. Is that gonna just?
No,
Okay. Yeah. So on here a little bit early. So heat 45. It's happening. I'm just gonna go through. I'm gonna watch these two semifinal heats and sort of go through what I see technically. I wasn't able to watch earlier, getting the kids ready, and then I had a couple of lessons, and so I heard that it was that both Gabriel and Idlo were making it look like a skate park, so I'm excited to watch them surf. But I'm not going to commentate from kind of so much of like a competitive, oh, he's ahead and he needs to get this kind of wave and, ticking all the boxes and, building a house, all that stuff. I'm just going to watch the surfing and see how well they timed everything. The waves are, not so easy. But I think being from Brazil is quite an advantage. Just because I've been to Brazil and to Japan, and Brazil has there's a lot of the breaks there have backwash and wind and all these elements. So I think I would say both Idolo and Gabriel have quite an advantage. I mean, they're number one and number two, so that's another thing. But I just want to see what they're, what we can learn from watching the surfing, because I think that's what a lot of people watch for is inspiration to learn new things. So I've got my iPad over here that helps me look at the messages. However, it's not really doing it.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I'll just close it. Okay. My wife's helping me. And yeah, I'm gonna have a few people call in and join me and talk about what they see. I'm watching Sally right now. She's picked off a wave here. And yeah, she wasn't able to make that last turn. She looked like she was in a rush. So that's pretty normal for surf contests, is to surf with urgency, to get to the next turn, And the most powerful surfing is done right without being in a hurry, so you can capitalize on the power that's there. Here she is, cuts back to the power, and then she decides to race ahead so she can get this turn off. But what happens here is, if you're watching, is that as she comes down from that top turn, her head isn't right over the surfboard. It's slightly over her toes. So when she came down, she just didn't have anything underneath her to be able to... Oh, here we are. All right, let's see. View request. Wait a second here. What age would you at what age would you recommend kids start wave key? I would say it's based on their own interests. So if you're doing wave key yourself and your child is interested in doing it, then start. Um, it's not about doing it right or wrong. It's more about just doing it and feeling it, and eventually they'll learn. And the takeoff is just the most undervalued part of surfing that has had the least amount of technical uh, direction. Um, and here we have, yeah. Um, yeah, these Olympics are kind of interesting. They have like, they don't tell you the two scores, they don't do a lot of replays, and you don't actually know what the other surfer needs unless you're really listening to the commentary, which a lot of times is really quite difficult to listen to the commentary. Um, so I think they could definitely advance. But I also think that the format in the Olympics, it's really these super long heats. They're really long and drawn out. I think a faster moving format would make it a lot more exciting. I I have I have the format. It's not, it's based off the game format, but it's an individual, and sort of threw my hand up to Fernando Aguirre and said, "Hey, if you want, I can help consult." But yeah, anyway, here we are. Let's see here. Here we are. Go live with the swell in there. There are the boys. Let's see. Uh, yes, there's so much intricacy in the takeoff, and in these waves they're short, and you want to get that feeling of confidence right from the get-go to be able to accelerate and be in time, with the wave to get the most out of it. Um, Timmy Patterson, hey buddy, miss ya. Oh, it said accidentally. You got to get out and then go back in and send it, and then send another request. That's what I'm told. Would an artificial wave like Surf France suit the Olympics better? No, I was listening to Barton, and I think he's been speaking quite well. Uh, I do think that the relationship with the ocean is really the unpredictable nature of that is really good, and I just think that the format should be shorter, much shorter, and move much faster, and uh, I think for us, we all surf, so we're watching this, and we love to surf, so we know what's going on. But if you don't, you just be like, wow, these heats are extremely long. Here goes Sally. I wonder why she missed that. Didn't turn around in time. So I think the part of that's a big one. Do you turn around in time? How many waves are going like this at you? They're going ooh, 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 like this, and she turned around, and maybe at first she looked at the wave and thought nah, and then she decided yeah. Just that tiny amount right there can make you miss the wave. So um, I mean, she's losing, and there's a minute and a half less left, so she's quite under quite a bit of pressure. But I I think moving out of this, we'll end up talking about this first matchup, and it's Kanoa Igarashi versus Gabriel Medina. I think Gabriel Medina has the advantage, and I think we'll see both Gabriel and Kanoa are contest surfers, and so let's see what we can learn from watching them surf, and see if they're in time with the wave, or they're in a hurry, or they're trying to. I think probably one of the things that is not fun to watch is when they manufacture a score. I think the manufactured score is just that's you're in a contest. It's like, is it win at all costs, or is it like, I'm not going to manufacture the score? And when you manufacture the score, like, that kind of score can't be too high. If you and I know that's a nebulous statement, but it's pretty much comes down to, it looks like Japan's in the final. That's pretty awesome. I think Amori's technique is good. She's a really, really good surfer. She does a lot of things technically very good. Uses her body really well for leverage, and I didn't watch that heat that closely, but yeah, I'm impressed with her surfing. I wonder if Potts is watching me. Yeah, I highly doubt it. But if he is, hey, Potts, join in. We'd are watching Japan here, you know. Bam, that was a nice turn. So what made it nice was that, and here's another one. That one she was a little bit late on, but she kicked her head right over the top of the board. So what made that first turn really nice of Amori's was the wave was coming towards her, and she allowed the wave, the power of the wave to come to her, and she was sensitive enough to absorb the wave's power without her body moving away. So her knees came in, but her head moved towards the wave, and that's what kept her over the top of it. And she didn't have to exert any force. She had speed, and that's really good. So, Tommy Carroll says to Terry Patterson, I love how many boards you have in the Olympics. Yeah, he's got quite a few. He deserves it. Timmy, that's a stoker. Let's see, Barrel Surf Podcast and 2 others sent a request to be in the live video. I think you just go, hey, review request. I'm new to this one, so it says the invitation expires. Oh, what is that?
I'm gonna find out.
SK Films. Sorry, here goes. Kanoa running down. And Gabriel. It's a big deal. The waves here are pretty similar to when we were traveling in Japan. I got my somehow.
Is Barreled Surf Podcast, is that them?
That's somebody else, but we can say hi to them. Did I miss the pot stories yet? No.
Go live with the scullion. Here we go.
Okay. Is that turned up? There they are. Ah,
Gerlach,
there he
welcome to the
is.
broadcast, mate. We was robbed. We was robbed. The judges.
Turn the video around to the screen and we can see exactly what you're saying. So does it go that way? Is that right? Or did I just go sideways?
You went sideways and he went the other way.
Okay.
Wait. Hey,
Oh, there he is. Hey, there it is.
mate. What did you make of that last heat? I thought Sally opened very well, but ultimately Suzuki, just with the hammer blow at the end there, that roll in shore break, just that huge section, and then just tagging it a second time. Just crushed our hopes and dreams, mate. Sal, she's going to be the bridesmaid yet again.
Yeah, I mean, losing sucks ass for sure. But I think that I think that Suzuki has a little bit more of at least today, she looked a lot more solid on her surfboard. A little bit, Sally fell, and she fell because she overshot it. And when she went up to hit the top, as she hit the top, her surfboard went that way, and her head went too far over her toes. And coming down from a drop like that, you have to be right over the top of your front foot with your head in order to make some of those really tricky late hits like that was. But Amori seems to be a little bit more lower. Her bum is a little bit lower over her feet, over her heels and stuff. And so it gives her more leverage. And with the waves look like they have a bit of power out there. So, and she looked like she handled it quite well. But I didn't watch it that close because they're technically setting up this stuff and really just want to see the, I think Kanoa is a really formidable opponent. I don't think he has the chops like Gabriel does, but it's the ocean and it's moving around, and if he dials in a wave that just sets up for him perfectly, I mean, he certainly looks like he can handle the pressure, as we see right here. Gabriel. Oh, nice start. So one of the things I see from both Gabriel and Ferreira is they turn their body like this. The center of their chest is turned at going down the line, and so that really sets them up to easily accelerate. And then when they want to turn back this way, they have all the upper body open this way so that they can twist themselves back down this way. And in that air, as he hits the air, you can see his chest is this way. Here it is. Cool. They're showing a little replay. See how his body's turned, and then as he flies in the air, and what he does so well is keep his head right over the top of the surfboard. So as he hits the air, the head the arm is out here as he lifts off, and then as soon as the board leaves the water, that's when he starts doing the twist. Now it isn't just a tuck down, it's a twist, and then the head, the top of the head is traveling with the surfboard. And that's the thing that's why his success rate is so high. I'm not even here to give scores out or anything like that. I just thought that was very entertaining. Even though it was predictable, I predicted he was going to do it, it was still entertaining. So that's kind of I think that adds to the score, is that you're like, here it comes, and it was big, rather than here it comes and it was a little bit smaller than you expected. The waves do kind of look a little bit like a skate ramp out there.
How's the strike rate on him, though? 1 from 1. I was talking about this with Connor O'Leary and his coach James Woods yesterday, Taipan. And the Brazilians know that if they, have 6 attempts at a punt, if they can get 6 waves, attempt 6 big full rotation punts, they're going to stick one of them. So that's 1-7. That's 1-7 in the bag. The chances are, if they get 6 ramps or 8 ramps, they're going to stick 2, and that's going to win almost every heat. They're playing the percentages. The bastards,
Yeah,
eh?
it's so obvious that in this kind of surf with a, I mean, with an aerial, it's got to be big, and if you can mix it in with some traditional surfing that's impressive, that's accelerating, that sees you in a really critical position of the wave, not losing speed. But here's Kanoa's wave. This was,
Wow.
it was
Spicy
pretty
wasabi
impressive.
on that one. Are you kidding me?
I don't know how many points you get on that second turn. The first turn was really good, but again,
Fuck, he's 2 from 2. I don't believe it. The strike rate, the percentages are just,
see,
they're
that was
so
a
far
nice.
ahead of the rest of the world in that regard, the Brazilians. Until the rest of the world can develop an aerial repertoire.
Well, the two things that both Italo and Gabriel have is that their posture is really good. They're really on top of. They're really right over their surfboard so much, and when they fall, their head is slightly off, unless they're doing doing it on purpose and they're using their head. They're going off, but then they come back on to add variety to that, to add twist and to add like a flavor, you know. But I didn't think Igarashi, even though Igarashi had 2 turns and still got a smaller score, and I think it was because the first turn of Kanoa's, while it was risky, it was also done a little bit away. Like if you looked at the way was curling like this, and he went past where it was really, really nuts and went to where it was a little safe, and then was able to ollie out of that. And then when he came into that second section, that was a contest type of finish. You know, it was just basically, you know, those are turns we've seen for decades. That was too conservative on the second turn. If he could have done like a layback or something that was super impressive on that second turn, his score might have gone, probably would have went higher than Gabriel's. I don't know what Gabriel's second score is because I'm not listening to the commentary. But the
Bit of a chop hop, you reckon? That second air reverse?
The second one was, well, when he came down, he didn't bobble it at all, and then went straight into a vertical backhand hit. So I think he ended up. I want to say, wait a second.
Cheese whiz to backhand hit. Come on! Oh, they've thrown 7s at him. This is a disgrace.
So I sort of have to do the math in a way, but I guess they gave it another. They gave it almost. They gave it another almost 8 or something on the second wave.
Wow, 7-7-7 for Kanoa on his first. I'm loving the conditions. These kind of roll-in shories. Looks that fun, eh?
See, once again, he had his body open this side with his leading arm here, and then this time he didn't time it as well. He started turning here before he left the water. So one of the things in an aerial is that once, because you got the wave coming at you, you're going at it, and here, I got to stop and just watch this.
Ooh. I mean, where are we at with the heat totals here? We're looking at he's already racked up a 15.43 within the first 5 minutes of the heat. I mean, he's already up in an echelon of heat scores that no one's really topping, and he's only bloody 5 minutes in.
Yeah, and did you watch that last wave of Kanoa's? It was a missed opportunity. he just didn't get his body in a position to be able to lever a powerful turn back.
Now, I don't know if you noticed, Ger, on the shoreline, Andy King, the coach of Medina, not given a Brazilian sporting tracksuit. He's not been afforded the national tracksuit. They've drawn the line there with Kingy. Sorry, mate. I guess they haven't forgotten the LMB years, have they? The Brazilian Storm.
Yeah. Somebody put a comment in, where can I watch what you're watching? Well, we're in Australia, and we're watching this on 7+. If you go to isa.org, they'll tell you where in your country you can watch this. But I think that there's Gabriel on another one. See exactly.
Someone's got a 7, like number 7.
Well, that person might not be in Australia though.
No, number 7plus.com.au.
Oh, 7
Oh,
plus.
God! Somebody stop it!
7. Hey, I'm gonna give this. Wait, hang on, I got to give this person like a web address. It says 7 plus. Huh?
PLUS.
Medina
Yeah, 7, and then write the word plus, and 7. Write the word plus.com.au. I think you can watch it there.
I'm gonna calm down. That was too much.
Yeah, I think that the I want to say just I think Kanoa's wave was insane, an incredible opportunity, and he was in a hurry and didn't sort of settle down enough and drop down to get his weight over his heel to be able to rip a turn back into the pocket. He could have ripped off like 2 really major turns with a huge finishing turn on that wave. And I'm not saying that's easy, but that wave really stood up. That was a really good wave selection, a better wave selection than Medina. Medina's kind of picking semi closeouts and just going for the big, backside full rotation.
I mean, you're up against a Brazilian in an air wind with a bunch of one-hitter sections. I mean, good luck to you, mate. Good luck to you.
Yeah, well, you got to be prepared for it, and you have to I mean, it's not like he hasn't had his. It's not like these guys haven't had their chances to hone their skills, But yeah, I think that
how does one fight back against the Brazilian weaponry, the Brazilian arsenal of punts? I mean, I feel like it's a foregone conclusion in conditions like this. I mean, short of I don't know, borrowing maybe from the South African rugby handbook and spiking Kanoa's sushi roll the night before the event, or I mean, I just don't know. Like, it's something. It's an uphill challenge. It's very difficult for Kanoa at this point. I can't see
Tonya Harding style.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Something of the Tonya Harding handbook, maybe sending a couple of hired goons, I mean, he's in his home country. Surely the Yakuza can step up and do something.
Yeah,
big
well.
Shout out to Suzuki too, getting the nod over Sally Fitzgibbon in the last heat. I mean, she couldn't be really any more Japanese with a last name like Suzuki. Like it's almost as if Sally Fitzgibbon was called Sally Meat Pie or something, It's absolutely iconic.
That's a pretty good. Is it Sally Meat Pie or Sally? Again, what's the other one? Sally Vegemite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Sally,
right. Imagine
Sally Vegemite.
It's
Sally Vegemite. Or Sally Onya.
That's right. Anya Sally, exactly.
Yeah, there's
she'll be at best Sally. I don't know, Sally silver medal. If you get knocked in the quarters, can you still compete for the bronze? Or is it
that's what it's at. Yep. There's a bronze matchup. But I mean, all the media was constantly saying that who's gonna win the bronze, because we already know who's gonna get silver and gold. But I think in this sense, what I was, I just think Kanoa needs to work on his on getting better, and he has to be, like I said, like his first wave, he got the majority of the points on that first turn, and then the second turn he didn't really get much. So where he ended up in after that first turn was he didn't get himself into a really good position of leverage to be able to nail that second turn. And here's Gabriel just on, this is a one turn, and it was landed really well.
Can we bring TVC in on this? Is there a way? I've had a request here from one of the Swellians. Can we bring TVC on the broadcast?
Yeah, sure. I got a message from Tom Carroll saying, "Remember these conditions," and I absolutely do. These are like the same color of water, the same weather, the whole thing. I even have my somehow, I don't know, with all my travels and everything, I ended up with my Marui, 1988, competitors jumper. We would call it sweatshirt in the States. It's a sweatshirt, man. And Aussies say jamper, because you jump around in it. And
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Wow, a little bit of bloody.
And you know what that says? That says fucking win it good. And each competitor got it. And Potts got one of these and said, "You fucking going down to good." But actually the case was I went down to him. But no, anyway, just having fun. But yeah, it was pretty awesome going to Japan in the 80s. Oh wow, how's this wave? We got.
Can you tell a story of Pop?
Yeah. BL deserves the gold medal. Let's try this. Okay, bang. This is here we are.
Oh no, you kicked off the Swellian.
Pardon me? What's that?
The Swellian boy.
I'm
There
back.
he is. He's back on. He got
The
booted
deep
and he
state,
got
they
back
booted
on.
me, mate.
I don't know what happened there.
I was the deep
But,
state. It was Pegasus, Mossad. They hacked my app.
Like ideally, I would just say, like, ideally, if to really critique this stuff, you want to be watching replays and slow motion and going through the slow motion so you can see what the body's doing, because people, it depends on your age, I suppose, but a lot of people would like to be able to do air reverses and powerful cutbacks and incredibly well-timed top turns and all these types of things. And professional surfers, they have the time to devote to surfing. And sometimes, like actually surfing in this surf, not many people would be going out there and surfing, but by having to go out in this kind of surf is how you get better. You surf this kind of surf. You surf like it was the other day when it was tiny and closed out. You're constantly surfing all the time. So to be able to do some of this stuff, first it's good to know intellectually what they're actually doing. Like in the case of Gabriel, and you'll see in the next heat with Italo, their bodies, they're giving foot, so they're leading shoulders, their right shoulder, so they're turned like this until they want to do something, and that comes from the hips, and so they're already sort of in position to be able to deliver a turn even without the power of the wave. So when there's the power of the wave and they put the timing together, that's why the turns can be delivered at such a high success rate, as well as well-timed and dynamic, So
I don't know about Kanoa's timing in this heat. I think he might still be on Californian time, mate. Wake up, Kanoa! He's on the money.
Well, I mean, I think the case, but I think the clear-cut thing here was that if you look at Gabriel's waves, they're not as good as Kanoa's waves. Kanoa's first wave had 2 turns on it, and then Kanoa's second wave that he fell on he had 3 turn possibilities on it. So that's a big talent difference there. and the reason is the way Kanoa stands on the surfboard and where he is in between his turns to get himself into the position of leverage. Because sometimes when a wave sets up perfectly, it's easier to get into that position of leverage to be able to unload a quality turn. But when the wave, especially like today, the waves aren't that cooperative. So if you do find those bowly sections, if you're even a little bit in a hurry, you're going to miss out on the power. And that's kind of what that's basically what I see with Kanoa, and I think it'll be interesting to see how the next heat rolls out, because I think Owen Wright he's a positional surfer. He positions himself in really radical positions without a lot of speed or excessive speed, whereas Italo's is going really fast and putting himself in really critical positions as well as flying in the air. So it's going to be pretty difficult, I think. Here's a wedgie wave for Gabriel. Tons of bump all over the wave, but it's like he literally isn't affected by the bumps, because each time he goes over a bump, he just lightens up a little bit to glide over the bump. So if you're riding bumpy waves and you press down at the wrong time, that's why it's so easy to dig rail and bumpy surf. But when you're surfing all the time like these guys are, you can feel when to press and when not to press down, and you have to glide over things, and you're also looking at your immediate, like right in front of you, to see, oh, there's a little wedge right there. Like the wedge might be this big on a 6-foot wave, and you can just see there's a little curvature right there, and you can just you can chip off of it. Here goes Kanoa.
There's a bit of energy in the water out there, isn't there, Gerlach? Like they've lucked out, really. I mean, the wind's not really ideal, but we're talking 10-second periods, 2 meters of swell. Like that's that's pretty quality.
Yeah, I mean, they get those typhoons because it gets so hot over in Japan at this time of year, and so they do get them. But it is really lucky that there's enough surf for the guys to do some exciting surfing. And I mean, we just watching Cano on that last wave. To me, it looked like he was in a rush, and that you can see it just by where his eyes are. They're only going to show this now. To me, like that's what he had. He had to do something like that, and I think when you're doing those types of turns, you're going to have like you're going to have to picture where the end, where you're going to land before you even take off. And if you don't have a clear picture of where you're going to land, you won't send your energy enough in the right direction. Like it has to go with the wave. It's so difficult. But I think we saw that yesterday with John. He looked really disconnected. He normally doesn't look that disconnected. My guess was that, and I heard Barton say that he thought he was 100%, but there's no way. He's just coming off of that injury, and he did not look very connected to a surfboard for John.
How would Slater
yeah.
feel about that? How would Slater feel about an 80 to 75% John taking his spot in the Olympics? And was it really worthwhile? I guess from an American point of view, you're going into the Olympics with a bit of a lame horse there, maybe.
I don't know if I can show what
Let
people are. Sorry,
let me pull it up.
people are asking if they can see the telly that we're looking at, and here goes Kanoa. Oh, nice one. So he did a big full rotation air, and I don't know if to me, it wasn't as probably didn't have the same intensity as Gabriel's 8.3, but see it in slow motion, it was pretty high. He's definitely this may be Kanoa's best wave though. It's really difficult. People are asking, they're in Indo, they're in other places that they can't see. I don't think I can spin it around and have you watch the TV.
I might be able to.
Boom. That was pretty clean landing all the way around. So this one, I think he had a clear intention of where he was going to land.
Ooh, that was huge. Wow, he's back in the game.
His pace is priceless. Looks like he got a 9 something. And he's gone into first, and there's 6.5 minutes left. So yeah, that was pretty. I mean, that was pretty flawless. And now Gabriel needs an 8.58, but there's 6.5 minutes left. There it is. Boom.
Monstro!
Oh, good. Ed, I'm stoked you're doing that.
I kicked the fucking screen. Sorry, boys. That was massive. Are they throwing 9s at that?
Yeah, I think he got a 9. I think he got, he's on 17 points, so he had a 7, right? So he had a, I'm a terrible at math, but anyway.
Are they juicing the Japanese though? What's going on here? Are they getting the nod, girl? Is there a bit of hometown favoritism here?
Oh, he got a 9. He got a 9.33. I think they're comparing it to Gabriel's first wave, which was an 8.43. So,
Which email did you use?
for what?
Yours.
Yeah. It's on there though. It's been there the whole time. I have an app and everything already. That we look for. But no, he's Jed's got it. Jed's showing it right.
Okay, cool.
I think that that aerial was big, and it was clean, and there was no bobbling. He landed it well, and they're claiming that it's almost a point better than Gabriel's first wave. So what they should be doing is showing us Gabriel's first wave and showing that last good wave of the 9.33 of Kanoa's, and back and forth so that we can compare them. This is a pretty big wow, it looks like the sun's come out. The sun's come out a little bit there. Kanoa's feeling it. This is the longest 3 and almost 4 minutes of Kanoa's life, probably. There's just no way the ocean's going flat. There's so many waves coming through right now. So I think one of the things here with Gabriel is he can rely on his technique. His technique's so good. His foundation is so good. His balance is so good. Okay, here you go. So this is that's not his first wave. So he lands in the whitewater a little bit, and I think that that was his second 8.33. And then Kanoa's landing is he lands in the perfect spot, doesn't lose any speed, and I think the landing part of it is what makes it a higher score. But what I was saying before, when he didn't make that corrupt, was, and this may be running through your mind, is he probably remembered, I need, even if these words weren't spoken, this is just a feeling. Or he's like, okay, I need to project that aerial I need to know where I'm going to land. So as he went into that section, that section was easier than the corrupt section. He really pictured where he could land, and that was and he nailed it. So that's a lot in surfing. If you know where you're going, your body will continue twisting and to precision. If you don't really know, that's where I think you can make mistakes, and you can overshoot stuff or undershoot it.
How
Wow,
about the
this
clutch
is
skirt? Less than 5 minutes
well.
on the clock in Japan, up against Medina, down by a near perfect ride, and he pulls that out of the bag. The nerves, mate. The nerves are steel. Incredible.
Well, I mean, also, he's just like the way competition is today. I mean, you're like one maneuver out of it. He knew he had a decent first. He had that 7-7-7, so he wasn't combo. So he knew if he could just do, a big air, and now, well, it looks like you're wrong, because I just saw Kingy with his Brazilian. He's got a Brazilian jacket on. Looks like you got. Yeah, This is pretty exciting. There's a minute left. Did you hear me there? Your thing kind of stopped for a second.
Yeah, I might have got. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. I just saw Kingy with the Brazilian jacket on.
Oh, they've given him one.
Yeah,
Well,
and here's Gabriel's possible. There's 38 seconds. He's gonna pull the triggers. Oh, that could be it. "20 seconds.
Kingy, is that an official Brazilian jacket? It looks like it is. Wow, he's really, he's like the very definition of a turncoat.
Oh, look at this.
Now.
Look at this. There's 7 seconds. Oh. No. Wow, Kanoa. Amazing. Amazing.
Wow. I did not see that coming. I thought he was done. At the opening of that heat, I mean, Gabe had one of the highest.
That's what's wonderful. I think that's what's awesome about surfing is you just can't be like, oh, well, Gabriel's going to win for sure. No chance. Someone wrote in earlier. Someone made a comment saying there was no chance. It's just that Kanoa had no chance is what someone wrote. I think in the first, when Gabriel had such a strong start, So I think Gabriel might have relaxed a little too much in there. But yeah, it's a. What'd you think?
I mean, that was just a slight variation of his second scoring wave, I reckon. They were both pretty much in that cheese whiz category of air reverse for mine. But the first one was legit. The first one was monstro. Wow, what an upset. Kanoa.
Such an upset. Now
here we go. Now for the main game, girl. Now for the main game. The Irakazi. He's opened the gate for
lots
some
of
big
killer
gold here.
Well, there's lots of killer comments here from friends and stuff. And someone wrote, "Born and bred in HB." So that's pretty interesting, right?
He's about as well, yeah. I was going to make a very crude World War II era joke there. I'll probably lay off that one. I was going to say he's about as no, I'm not going to go there.
A lot of the HB boys. HB won that heat.
100%. Yeah.
He's Japanese blood though. Both parents are Japanese, and that's Japanese. heritage and all that stuff. So,
Well,
I
here we
have to
go.
say,
Here we go. The main game, girl. Here we go.
oh, yeah. This is a pretty. I
Couple
hope all
nerves
of
for this one,
Australia is
mate.
watching. Yeah, now everything falls on
This is a big day for
Italo
the fucking
for
Irukandji,
Brazil
mate.
and Brazil versus Australia. That's pretty exciting.
An awesome moment for Japanese surfing. That's right. He's as Japanese as they come. Huntington Beach's finest.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not really. I can hear Barton talking in the background, but I'm not listening because I think I'll be I'll just let him do his thing there. I think he's been doing really well. And covering the competition for lots of people that maybe haven't ever watched. But this is for people that already know how to surf and are interested in learning something. In that last heat was the two main takeaways were that the leading shoulder gets out of the way, the body's turned a little bit on the backhand, and as soon as you leave the water, that's when the leading shoulder starts to make its way this way, and then the head goes in the direction of the surfboard. Also, the intention, the knowingness of where you're going to land before you take off is that's such a huge element of making, and that's why making all the aerials or making any turn really. And that's why you see such a high success rate with professional surfers. I mean, Kanoa messed up the corrupt, made an adjustment, caught that wave. And if you remember that wave he took off on there was nothing. It was almost like a reform that flattened out. He got a bunch of speed and came into a closeout. It was a perfect ramp. And he flew into the air, and I mean, there's no waving of his arms or any recovery. He just stuck it really quite elegantly, actually. And I think that's where the score came from. It was big. He was flying, and yeah, probably under pressure part of it too was pretty awesome. So here we are.
Let's throw a bit of heat Owen's way, girl. I mean, this guy is known for heavy tube riding ability, chopes, various slabs, the box. Got a 10 on one of his first ever waves out there. But the hype on him coming up through the ranks, through the Australian Pro Junior ranks, was how good he was at groveling. He's a machine in marginal conditions. He's won an ISA world title, maybe a couple of them in Brazil, in absolute dribble. And for a big man, he can throw it around. I mean, he's just all dick, ribs, and brain plaque at the moment. Just,
I think. Well, also, I think one of the things is he looks really. Owen looks really flexible. He looks like his body works really well and in time with what he wants to do. And here he is taking a look at this opening wave.
Khan Kalbara, Khan Irukandji.
Yeah, Kalbara. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna say that wave is just a starter. Came off of that floater with a little bit of important that as he came off the floater, he didn't lose speed. And Italo up and riding. Whoa.
Yeah, I think you're slightly ahead of us somehow, Ger, with your broadcast. I think, what is this, some kind of anti-vax apartheid? Am I being penalised for not getting the vaccination? Is that why I'm what's going on here? Why can't I get some live stream action? Here we go, the Big O winding up. Nice opening foam hit to big backside Rio. Pull it. Yeah, the O. Yeah.
Oh well, you got a wave coming up from Italo right after this too.
Fuck! Don't tell me that.
So watch how he comes off of this right here. Oh, no, this is the final move.
Oh, nothing there. That was a half-turn fat back. Big section looming for the fly guy, Ferreira. Holy crud! Ah, Serenity now. No, didn't pull it. Didn't ride out of it, girl. Not paying it, mate.
He looked like he knew exactly where he spun extra fast right there, and see how the board slightly tipped in the air, you know? Well, I don't have a recommendation, so tell him to call in. The
Greatest athletes. We're encouraging kids to chase their dreams, ensuring the kids of today have the tools.
Sorry, I've just refreshed. Trying to get some live stream, trying to break this apartheid deadlock on my broadcasting live stream.
Right.
I'm back in the game.
Right.
Here we go, the big O. Go on, son. Off the bottom. Darts! Cop that, lip.
Yeah, so one of the main things in that turn was going up there and driving on the back foot to get onto the front foot as he came around to be able to come back down into the wave. Otherwise, very easy to get stuck up there. You can see Italo's board right there. It sort of went towards the toe side rail, and I think he's planning to land it a little bit more on as he comes around. Maybe just slightly on the toes, you know, but the whole thing tipped like this. He had to just on the landing, and it looked like his foot slipped. But
I mean, that's one attempt so far. He's had one wave, one attempt, and one very near miss. I mean, what are we looking at there? We're probably looking at something in the mid-sevens for just a one-hitter, a fat back into a inside, ramp. I mean, he's going to get at least 5 or 6 of them in this heat, you'd think. He's going to stick at least one. You know that. Probably 2.
Yeah. It looks as though Owen got a 5. Italo just got a wave. I was just talking about my life for a second. Yeah. So Ferreira, it looks like maybe Ferreira just got a 4 something. But yeah, I think this heat is has yet to kind of light up yet. But yeah, it's I like to see more replays, and they're doing a bit more of that. But
whoa. How's there is not even a hint of hesitation in hitting sections like that will just buckle your knees 6 times from Wednesday, mate.
Well, that's a good one, because I think that there has to be a certain level of softness when you hit it, as we see. See how Italo's whole body is turned? Oh man, that was impressive. But came down. So I was just about to say, as you hit it, you have to hit it with a bit of softness, so the wave, so it doesn't buckle you. So you go like that. Then as you come down and you land those things, you have to land them on the tail, kind of like an airplane lands. Otherwise, you come down really hard. And Italo's next wave that you'll see on your thing, watch how he comes down. It doesn't come down enough on the tail.
What's going on here? Have they thrown a 4 at Italo for that non-make punt?
Did you just watch? Were you able to see that huge punt that he just did? Because had he made that, that would have been a 9 something. But he came down and landed with too much weight on the front foot. Here it is.
Oh my God! Wow.
See, they'll show it again in slow-mo, and you'll see how he lands on his front foot instead of he doesn't get the weight on his back foot to do the airplane landing. Really critical.
If I'm wrong, Gert, so they've thrown, what is it, like a kind of mid-four at Italo for that first punt, which he didn't stick.
No, he had a floater. You see that floater
they've
wave?
gone the fall of the floater.
Yeah, but I think the thing that you see here is that both, here he is. See how his chest is turned, and then right as he goes up, that's where he starts doing the spin, and his head stays right above the surfboard. But even though his head stayed right above the surfboard, as he came down, now here's another wave. Right as he came down, wasn't able to get the tail in first, and then make it. Now some of the airs you come down with the nose first. That's like a nose pick, but that in that particular, when you're coming down in the flats, you pretty much have to you have to come down with the tail first. So technically did everything right, and then just at the very end wasn't able to get that leverage there.
7 mate, they reckon.
7 mate, what's that?
Oh, I don't know. It's some fucking techno gibberish.
Oh, it's 7. It's 7 plus.
It might speed up my. I'm on 7 plus. It might speed up my live stream, so I'm actually on.
He's not calling, babe. I don't know how to bring him in.
I don't know.
Sorry, boys. Gers in the future. I've got it pulled up here on my TV.
Well, maybe you pull the switcheroo and then I can watch it off your stream. I don't know.
See, I'm gonna pull in. I'm gonna pull in Tom Carroll.
Pull him in.
Let's see. Let's see if we can get Tommy in here as well. What do you people are asking if you have 5G, Smithy?
5G, I believe that there was a block 8 in Mullumbimby that prevented the whole Northern Rivers from getting it. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know there was a bit of hullabaloo about it. I mean, Taj Burrow's been right on the vanguard of blocking 5G. He's had his tinfoil hat on.
Yep, tinfoil hat. Yeah, it's a thing. Let's see. Here we go.
It's the age of the tinfoil hat wearer.
Oh, Owen's gone right and Italo's gone left.
Splitting the peak. Do you think there's a bit of room in there for a bit of argy-bargy a la Gurr and Potts, in the 80s on tour? I mean, is it not in the Olympic spirit to be throwing elbows?
I thought I saw yesterday who was up against Gabriel. Somebody got in. Oh, Julian and Gabriel look like they're. Here goes Italo. Ooh. Okay. So Italo just made an air reverse. And you'll see how he lands it differently than the other one and is able to make it out of it. His ability to get his whole body close down to the surfboard is what gives him the high level of control. Of course, he's a pretty short guy, but his posture and his is right. Like he doesn't lean over one way or other unless he does it intentionally. So he's built a lot more like a gymnast, and this is something you can see from like when you start to study and look at it all. You can see, wow, he has, he's got an advantage in the air because he does. What throws you off is your head. So if your head's, there it is.
Whoa, fuck, man! How's landing on the roof of the wave? It's basically an air reverse into a floater going backwards, landing in the explosion. Pretty skits.
Yeah, so he also surfs switchfoot quite well. And so when he gets turned around the other direction, he has balance and awareness. It's called in the air when you know where you're at. It's called proprioception. And so his proprioception is it's like the best in the world, you know, arguably.
This is for your people.
Proprioception. I thought that was when a pig was inseminated with an ibis. I thought that was some kind of high-tech genetic engineering. I've got it all wrong.
I'm so surprised that your mind would even go there.
Well, I guess I'm just not that well read.
No.
I'm a truth seeker. I'm on the path. Here we go. The replay, the fly guy, the world champ. Oh, how's how he just catches the board? I mean, he's only got through half a rotation at best there. Critical landing, but, you know, the move itself was not that. Get out of it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, his foot moves quite a bit, and you can see if the front foot doesn't move towards the front of the board, then the board doesn't balance out well. This is something I noticed about doing, tail.
Do you think?
Do you think
Italo could undo like a pasta sauce jaw with those feet? Like, he's very feet dexterous, isn't he? Just catching the
Yes,
ball
I'm
like
sure.
That.
Oh, I'm sure he could.
Oh, how's
he
the
could
drone
knit.
shot? I want to smack that thing to. Oh, he didn't stick it. Fuck.
Yeah, this is anyway, I was just saying about his doing the aerial, how the front foot moves forward to balance out the surfboard, and then as in the reverse, the front foot becomes the back foot, or basically it becomes the balance point. So there needs to be quite a bit of dexterity on that front foot in riding. And both, I've seen Gabriel and Italo surfing switch stance, and they're not bad. They're not incredible. They're incredible for surfing the way I've switch stance. But I think as the sport goes towards the future, I think people will be surfing switch stance a lot more, and honing their switch stance. And a lot of people talk about wave pools coming in and changing everything. And one of the things I see with wave pools as a positive is that you can spend time surfing switch stance in there without feeling like you're going to waste a wave. And I think that's why people don't do it, is they don't want to waste a wave surfing switch stance, but if there's an abundance of them, then they can, and they will. This is a great drone shot here. But without touting wave key too much, I practice wave key switch stance. I have a lot of goofy footed students. I'm a natural foot, but I believe in practicing wave key in your preferred stance and switch stance to sophisticate your nervous system, to sophisticate your movement. So you can build proprioception. You can build awareness of both feet. Case in point is both Italo, number 1, and number 2 in the world, can surf quite well switch stance. As we see Italo here with a narrow stance to pick up speed. And that's one of the things I like to talk about too, is that to pick up speed, you see both Gabriel and Italo. Not only are they turning their bodies, and I'm talking about them surfing backside, not only are they turning their bodies so that their torso is facing more down the line or more closer to the
up there it comes
of the nose of the surfboard, is that and it's here goes Owen. Oh, that was a pretty good wave. 2 big hits. Traditional surfing, probably be in these, probably be somewhere around a 6-ish. What's that? Anyway, what I was saying about the narrow stance is, and that's what I'm here why I'm doing this commentary is for people to learn, for people to learn something about surfing. And I never quite hear them talk about this on the WSL, but when you're pumping, the surfboard doesn't, the nose of the surfboard doesn't move more than 10 or 15 degrees back and forth. So you don't need a wider stance. You don't need your foot on the tail. You need your foot on the tail when you want to do a sharp turn, a full redirection.
Here he goes. The big
So you'll
O,
see-
the pterodactyl. Ah! Nice hit off the top. Bust the fins out. That's some irritangi venom right there. Some deadly poison. Yeah, there she goes. There she goes.
Looks like they've come into a tie. Hey Jed, could you give me a little more enthusiasm? But I just, I kind of want to spice this up a little. So,
all right. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit lackluster. A couple of hot ones has
Sorry,
left me
Italo
behind the
just
eight
got
ball,
away.
girl.
No worries. Italo just got away, but it's a inconsequential one. But yeah, that narrowing stance, you pick up more speed because the back foot comes off the tail. It makes the front of the board sit down in the water a little bit more, and it's done to get more speed. Here's a replay of Owen's wave. Good snap, first turn.
He's taking the lead. Oh, it's
And
a dead tie.
really vertical second turn with the fins out. So I'm not sure what they gave it. Maybe they gave it a 7. Maybe they gave it a 6. But it was connected from start to finish, and that was good. But that is traditional surfing. So Italo basically can just take off, go 100 miles an hour, do a big giant air, and get a 9-something. So by no means is Owen safe. It looks like they're tied right now.
Cheese whiz, tic tac. The purists are rolling in their graves.
Are
Shane
they?
Herring is rolling in
Are you
his grave.
saying
He
for
was
small
actually
surf
dead and
the
not
league
just living down the road
has
in Broadway.
already turned ahead open? Yes, I am. Uh-huh. Do you think Owen Wright has a chance against coffee sipping madman and acrobat extraordinaire as Italo? Well, it's just if Italo doesn't do what we're expecting him to do. Here he goes on another one. A lot of speed, narrow stance, big section, huge air. Oh, if he made that, if he makes that, that's like nearly a 10 right there. So that's I get hurt, but it's thick.
And has been incredible. I mean, in marginal conditions, he just manages to fit his gigantic pterodactyl prehistoric
So
frame.
you want me to? Yeah, so they're just showing this replay of Italo right here. It's a huge section. He flies way up into the air. He's right over the top of the board, but once again, does the same thing. Can't get his back foot to put the pressure on the tail for the landing. And had he made that big giant turn right there, it would be lights out. It's too spectacular. It's too incredible.
Here we go. Here's my look at it, Gurr. He's fanging down the line. Huge section. Holy crap. Thinks he's Albie Layer, mate. He was going for the 540. Are you kidding me? He was monstro.
Yeah.
He's going too large. He's had one too many espressos, Gurr. He's off top.
I don't think that's possible for Italo. I don't think he has a max. I think he just keeps drinking them until he surfs and then gets out of the water and continues. He could.
Here he is, TVC, the two-time world champion.
Tommy, you remember these conditions, Tommy?
Can't hear
Oh,
it.
because it's coming through the
Oh.
For some reason, it's coming. This sounds like it's coming through there. How funny. I don't know what happened, but it went over to our Bluetooth. You know what modern life's like. It's just things are popping up over here, there, and all that other. Not. Oh yeah, it's maybe our kids one. Here's Italo up and riding, and he's gone for that was a traditionally surfed wave. I'd like to see the replay on that. You there, Smithy?
I'm here. I'm here. We've lost TVC though.
Yeah, I think I don't know, when he came in, it sounded
I don't.
like it connected on a different speaker. We have like a little kid story time speaker that connects to a Bluetooth, and we have this other Bluetooth thing. So modern day, this is pretty cool. We can have a chat, talk about what's happening. This is the first surfing in the Olympics.
Wow, what a high pressure scenario, Ger. I can't believe it. A dead heat at the moment
Yeah.
with less than 10 on the
Oh,
clock.
there he is.
Yeah, team.
There he is.
There
All
he
right,
is.
Tommy.
TVC's back.
You. Love your work. Love your work.
Thanks,
So
thanks,
good.
buddy. You
Get my
remember
first
these
review lives
conditions
now.
you were saying?
Oh, yes, that's right. I'm feeling it. That warm kind of typhoon feeling. Here's O looking at it. It's just so, yeah, and that feeling, it like the storms coming through. Well, they used to send us out when it was closing out as far out to sea as you could see.
Well,
You know,
Owen
like,
just got it. Owen just got a wave. They've yet to throw up the score of Italo's last wave, which was
yeah.
traditional surfing. And then Owen just had a 2-turn wave that was might be better than Italo's. It was kind of,
Utilize
I
one.
was getting some interference going on, so my retention. I have to I got to have one of these ones where I'm watching and I don't get distracted at all to be able to really weigh in on. Okay, so here's Owens in slow-mo. Layback, he gets a little bit hung up on it, like he doesn't accelerate out of it. And then
Oh, he's going left.
a second turn is quite critical, blows the fins out. And then Italo has like a power carve right in the pocket, slides the fins a little bit, and comes into the
Cut up, dang, jump, got that. Loving
Those
that.
two
There
scores.
it is, it's coming out.
Those two scores are going to be fairly close.
Super tight. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be fairly close.
Wow, what a battle.
One of the things here I want to bring up a point. One of the things is, so Italo does that carve, and then he hurries to the closeout. Sometimes it's better to do the carve and wait for the closeout to come to you, because the wave will be farther in on the shore and hollower. And so that takes a lot of poise and competition to wait for it. You know, do you know what I'm talking about, Tommy?
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's a feel thing. I mean, here we go. I'm seeing the slow-mo replay. Wow, that's
Bit of a bog
such
there.
a tight. Kind of lost his fins on the cutback too, but they were both really, really similar rides. I think Owen's maybe a little bit more critical.
Yeah.
So let's see what the judges have to say about this. Kind of interesting, super interesting end of this heat. I see Italo's got 13.17.
Yeah, I think Drew Littlemore. Yeah, buddy. Long time.
What's the strategy? What's the strategy from this point in, fellas? 5 minutes on the clock. Italo is holding priority.
Hunting like Italo's doing now, because these conditions you want to be active in these conditions. Super active. Here we go.
Italo's success rate is really low in this heat. He is Italo got a little higher score. It's 13 to 12, 4-7. So
ripped off.
I think yeah. I don't know. It's a tough one, but I think Owen's first turn, even though it was,
here we go, Italo. Being active in the lineup right now is super important.
That was a bogged fat back into a nothing end section hit. Owen dropped the wallet and then cut up the judo chop on the end section, mate. I feel like
Hang on. Here we go. Italo's getting active on the inside here, trying to, add to his score, which he'll do. I just went into that a bit too early. Like you said, Ger is just a bit anxious on that inside bit. I mean, he usually just power out of that. but there's quite a bit of wind, you know, and it's going to be interesting.
Here's it's Surf Ready Fitness. It's Kanoa's trainer, and he said he's ready to sign in anytime. So yeah,
Cool. Do you want to get him in?
Jump on in.
Jump on in.
What was it? What was the thing?
Hey, that Kanoa is so strong.
Ropeable.
And I've been
loving
what Paul's been doing here. Surf Ready Fitness with Kanoa. I've been watching him over time, and here we go. Here's the scores up. Whoa, pretty tight. Look at
very, very close. So
Yeah.
this is where the clutch. This is where
Yeah,
the clutch.
boys.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, Paul.
Yeah, boys. What's up?
Hey man, how are you? You must be feeling
Good.
really good. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I woke up all the neighbors, or yeah. I'm going bananas. I'm going bananas here.
Because you were screaming.
Guys.
Because you were screaming.
He's doing so good, and I love watching what you do with him.
Yeah. Thanks, boys. You know, obviously I follow you guys, and much respect and love to everything that you guys have done. And I can only hopeful one day, you know, be as well respected in the industry as you guys have. Honestly. Yeah. So what are we thinking here?
Owen just got a wave at a really nice first turn and went for it on his second turn, which was really good. But it was one of those waves of like there was a wave in front of his wave, and I don't think even he didn't project the turn out in front of the wave far enough, and got sucked into that vortex thing. You know that projection thing is such a big. It's really the make or break, really. And I'm quite surprised at Italo's
so close.
Wow.
His success rate is really low, but it looks like there's only a minute left. So
guys, I got a question. I mean, are we getting tired of these just like backside rotations that they're throwing and expecting to get 8s and 9s? Or
I think you're on point there a bit, Paul, but it's just a part of the evolution of surfing. You know, they're putting it through the paces really, literally each heat, and they'll evolve from there. But they're really feeling that's their option at the moment. I think
you think? I mean, everybody's going right. Do you think that if they did, are they going to score higher going left and doing more turns and maybe, or are they just scoring all aerials on the right?
Well, definitely more aerial option on the right. So
obviously, right.
If you're going against the wind. I mean, this wind will actually turn more offshore tomorrow for the finals. Yeah. That's the way the storm's rotating, and as you can see, it's gotten more offshore over the last 24 hours. But it's going to be. It might actually turn more. It might be a few more lefts tomorrow. As we go on.
You don't think they're going to finish the contest today?
I think they had it slated for tomorrow, didn't they?
No, I think they're running it tonight at like 10.
Are they going straight through?
Time.
Oh, good. Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay, so I got that wrong. I just read that a little earlier today. So, cool. Wow.
Yeah,
so the low tide coming on?
I think the finals are at 4:45, but
okay. Sorry.
Well,
yeah.
It looks like so I just going through the technical things that I saw there was that once again the same thing I saw in the first semi was whenever there wasn't a completion of an aerial or a turn or even when I watched just the tail end of the women is there isn't enough projection out to get out in front of the wave and it looked like I can't tell exactly what happened with Italo in the air because I'd have to study it. I'd have to see it a few times. But his board, as he flew in the air and came around, as he was coming down, he needed to get the weight on the tail to land him like that. And he came down on, there's no way you come down and land on your front foot in the flats are you going to make it. So I think that, you know, and just even not just aerial turns, but even some of the closeout hits and stuff like that. If the energy, if you aren't projecting yourself out in front of the wave far enough, you get sucked into that vortex. So that comes down to acceleration and the right time to accelerate. And in order to accelerate, you've got to have your body in the position of leverage. Because once you can lever, then you lever and move into the and you can drive through the turn and put yourself into a place where you can make the turn. The other thing is the head, keeping the head right over the top of the surfboard. So
I like what you said there. I like what you said there, Brad, because at that point you're moving into talking about, you know, body position, right? And loading and how you are actually setting up going into that air, right?
Yeah,
And
that's what I teach in wave key. I teach the maneuvers, but where we really delve down into it is what happens before is what happens before the turn. So you know, and then what happens after the turn to set you up for the next turn. And those are areas that I feel like aren't this is the difference between the very best and also because there's so many good surfers but only a few great ones, and one of the greatest ones is sitting right there on the screen there, Tommy, and the way that he could get his body to in this position of leverage. He's delivered some of the biggest, gnarliest, best top turns in some of the heaviest waves we've seen. So you know, this is the stuff that we go through with wave key, and you know, and there's Wim Hof in the corner saying, you know, it's the physiology.
It's the physiology.
On Wim Hof imitations.
you know what,
All the
Brad,
love,
I've
all the
actually,
power.
go ahead. Brad, I've actually, I went through your wave key program, and I really enjoyed the technique aspect of it.
So good.
Yeah, so congrats on that, and I
Thanks.
thought it was well put together.
Thanks. Oh my God.
Yeah. Tom,
Well, boys, the Aussies are out, so Smithy's out. I'll leave you to it. A great broadcast.
Thanks, Smithy.
We was thoroughly wrong.
Yes, Smithy.
What a joke!
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for the energy.
Thanks, Smithy.
Awesome.
Get high on your own supply.
Tom, I got a question for you. How's the rehab going?
Yeah, what the rehab on?
Everything.
I'm constantly sort of rehabbing my body. It's 59 years of age. With a lot of different. I've had a knee replacement. Actually, cool comments, by the way. Yeah, really cool. Bring on in. I've just had in a 12-month period. I had a total knee replacement and a right shoulder full reconstruction of the rotator cuff tendons. Yeah. So that was a double header, and that gave me a greater understanding of myself. I'll tell you where I was going with it. But the slow, repetitive, very very methodical work gave me so much freedom. I mean, it's and today I stick to swimming and a swimming routine. I do 2 days with that, a swim squad. At the moment, I can't do it, so I'm going a little bit crazy because of COVID. But then then I do a couple of solid days in the gym, which are all balance work. It's all corrective balance work. So using Swiss ball, cable rows, and some just body weight work. Yeah.
Yep. I love that. I'm getting up there in age, guys, you know, and I've been training canoa 10 years, and
Good work.
watching the evolution of him grow has been wild, but at the same time, watching my body not grow.
What
Right?
sort of training have you been doing?
What do you mean?
Well,
Specifically,
what have you been training him to do?
specifically with him?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to tell me your secrets or anything, but roughly, you know.
I know, right? Well, it depends on how much time we get to spend together, right? I don't get to see him that much. But when he is in town, he loves to train every day. So we're going to train every day. Clearly, I have to figure out how we can maneuver that. So I'm going to tell you this right off the bat. The kid is a freak. He doesn't get sore. He can train for hours on end. And I just don't know. I think there's a switch that flipped, and he is just a monster now. He loves training. And we will train.
He's in the final of the Olympics, which a lot of people wouldn't expect. So we know that he's a freak, and he has he's a exceptionally intelligent and a superstar athlete. So you know,
kind of built in Huntington too.
Yeah, I think that
amazing.
I just want to make a clear distinction that wave key isn't as much training as it is skill development and a learning method to learn techniques, to build the technique so it's in your surfing, so that you move naturally, and that there's training and stuff like that I think you need to do to build your cardiovascular and your flexibility and your stamina and your strengths and things like that. And so wave key is much more. It's just a different. It's similar to surfing. You know, you got to surf a lot to be a good surfer, but sometimes you just can't surf a lot. And I think that one of the things I mean, look. People may take this as being cocky, but I think with John's injury, I didn't feel like he had enough practice, and he looked disconnected from his board in Kolohe's heat. He didn't look very good in his first heat either. And to me, what he needs is practice. And when you're coming off an injury, you don't have enough time to practice. You're not as connected to your surfboard, and then you get into a pressure situation, and you have to be extremely connected and trusting your surfboard, trusting your body, and not fighting against anything. And so I believe if John was doing wave key, or I was training him doing wave key during the time that he couldn't surf, because you don't know what's going on, and over there you got press conferences, you got flights, you got who knows, it's dark, or they're not letting you surf because, you know, it's COVID, whatever. But you can go in your room and you can practice. And that is what I've done with Connor. I was doing that with Connor when he was at Bell's. And it's about getting it so that you can feel surfing within your body. As when you have that feeling is when you're going to deliver it's confidence, and you're going to deliver your best stuff. And it looked to me like Kanoa didn't look like he was really feeling that good in the beginning of the heat, and then and then with that aerial, the 9-point ride, it's almost like he made an adjustment on the way that he did the corrupt on, and realized, man, I need to know it. I need to know what I'm going to do. And that big air that he made for the 933 he looked like no part of me felt like he wasn't going to make it, or like he was hanging the balance. It was like, whoa, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and I'll speak on that. I think, you know, there's a lot of different aspects that go into surf training and surf coaching, right? And I stick to what I know I'm good at, and that is I would say surf training, right? Like you guys are the technique guys. I don't speak. Like when I get Kanoa in the gym, I don't work on his technique. It's more so about
Yeah.
getting him, building his body, you know, and
Yeah, so,
getting that
yeah.
mental confidence of knowing he's strong enough, he's got the core, and keeping him injury free.
Yeah, I would say that both Tommy and I know that quite well. Tommy was a bit of an inspiration for me to train in the first place. Tom being one of the fittest surfers. He just from the guys in the 70s, and then as we moved into the 80s, I noticed that Carol was training a lot, and then Tom Curran was training a lot. And we have spent like years and years and years and years and years. Training and learning about training and learning different things. So I just want to say thanks for coming on. Congratulations to your boy. I got a couple other guests that want to jump on. So
totally fine. I appreciate you guys having me, guys. Much respect and love, and I'm hoping that we can catch up, down the path.
Me too.
Sometime soon, guys. Congratulations on everything, and thanks for having me on.
Great work.
Yeah, and good luck this afternoon, man.
Yeah, gold medal. Let's go, baby.
Huge.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Okay. See ya. Yeah. Are you watching the women too here, Tommy?
Yeah. I'm watching Bianca just dive over the back of that in that closeout wave. Carolyn Marks, she just took off on a wave and just kicked out on one.
Man, sometimes I see Bianca's got such good technique, and then it falls apart. Hey, it'd be really cool to tell a little short story about Japan back in the day. I know we got some funny ones. But you got one you want to tell that comes to mind?
Well, I'll just go to the competitive one because it sort of goes with the theme now. It was in 1982, and Tom Curran and I got to the final, and it was massive. Hebara Beach, which is just around the corner from here, just a little bit south, and there was a typhoon just like this, and
I remember I was there.
Yeah, you know that one, and Tom, like, he got the win, and I was so pissed. I was like, God. And he was nil faced. So going, where's the emotion? I was like, you got to.
Yeah.
I was like, And Tom's like looking at me. He had like spirals in his eyes. I'm like, I remember it, because I was so full of that kind of charge. It was almost too much, and we kind of bounced off each other like that. But Tom had that thing going, and I just, oh my God, how do I get to that? And that's what you've just been talking about with the wave key. Tom has it just innately within him. That stuff that you can't just teach someone. And so Tom brought that to the board. But I remember that because the emotion that I had invested in that event is to try and get a win on the board. I hadn't got a win on the board yet, and Tom came and scooped that. And I was like so pissed. But I remember that.
So that event was my first, I think that was my first time going to Japan. And they had they had in between the heats, they had the off the lip contest.
Yeah,
do you remember that?
Off the rip
contest. And it looked like it was bigger than this here.
Oh my,
it was pretty.
God, sorry, but did you see Carolyn Marks then? Anyway, sorry, I've just got that, but I'm hearing go with the off the rip.
Yeah, the one she ate it on.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah. And they had that off the lip competition. I was like, "What is this?" They're like, "Oh yeah, whoever does the best off the lip wins like $500 or $1,000 or whatever it was." I was like, "I'm out there," and I think Crammy was in it too, and there was like a few
Yeah.
guys, and I won it, and I remember thinking, man, these are more set up for me. I like these kinds of events. Best off the lip. I was like, cool. I don't even have to like worry about like strategy or I don't have to think of this way or that way. I can just go out there and just hunt for the
Just go in.
the craziest lip section.
Express.
That was yeah, that was really good, and I feel like those were excellent because some of the guys weren't very strategic, competitors and stuff. Me being one of them, and that I think that area is really good, and it's pretty. I'd have to say that probably one of my favorite times of. Do you remember going to Najima and like they. Like I remember being so young, going to Najima Island, which is a little island off of Tokyo, and the water's like crystal blue, clear because it's a limestone island, and there are these onsens, which is a hot spring bath on the island, and the waves are just really fun. Then it went super onshore, and there were just blue bottles everywhere, and we're out practicing anyway. You're just like, oh well, whatever, and they're stinging you, and you're like, but it was like they were kind of like, rather than go, like nowadays, I'd be like, there's a bunch of blue bottles out there. Oh, and there's no way I'm going out there.
Yeah.
Back then, I was like, oh, they're just a nuisance. Just like, like whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't want to be out there now.
And
maybe I remember that waves of them, man, and they're big ones too. They didn't muck around those ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that
for sure. And then, of course, there was the whole era of when Sonny Miller brought over all the disco clothes, and I remember being all bummed. I remember being all bummed out that I lost, and this is probably '89, and I was like all bummed out that I lost, and then Miller's like, "Hey, we're gonna go into Tokyo," and he's like, he got this bag of like disco clothes, and we're like, "Wait!"
I couldn't resist.
All of us jumped on the train, and went into Tokyo, and I mean, that was
resist. That was the best.
That was a lot. I'm so glad we had those times. They're really no phones. I mean, and if there were phones, we could have been pretty. Could have got dobbed in pretty good, But anyway,
it's good to see actually BL's doing the commentary. And he was with us that night. He was lucky.
Yeah,
to be
I was just going to say it's really nice to see. It's really nice. Yeah, I know. It's really nice to see surfing in Japan, and that Japan's the place that the Olympics host. The first time for surfing, and they're so passionate. They've got so much character and uniqueness in their approach and their humility. And it's incredible. You got two Japanese surfers in the final. Or wait a second, not in the final. Sorry, you got Kanoa in the final, and looks like Suzuki's in the semifinal. So there's a chance that Suzuki could medal, depending on if she makes the final or she wins her bronze matchup. And that's just so awesome for Japan, and I've got. As you do, I got so many friends over there, and it's just, man, I can't say enough how
I love
impressed I am all with Japanese culture and the and the surf culture and the and they it wasn't just a fad, because you remember when we were there. I remember going there and seeing guys walking up with cigarettes and surfboards. And walking raw because there was tons of trash on the beach over there in the 80s. Smoking a cigarette, throwing the cigarette out, and doing these like stretches that literally they were like, the guy would go like this, go like that, and then be like, all right, that was enough. I mean, it was insane and
so classic, so classic. And I think the really cool thing right now
I got my board here.
Oh, there you go.
I got my board here. glass
Look
ons.
at that.
This is the one. This is the one I surfed against Potts. You know, and he
Yeah,
put,
that moment. I remember it.
yeah,
Oh,
and he
yeah.
put that
Potts is-
ding in it too.
It's right there.
He did it first. Everybody thinks I'm aggressive, but he did it first, and then and so I went to go get him back.
That's so classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing's still light. Feels like it would go. It's
Yeah, well, when they
5'11".
haven't been surfed for a while, they lighten right up.
Oh man, yeah. But anyway, Tommy, thanks for joining in. I just wanted
It's a
to do
pleasure.
the semis and kind of see if I could help anybody that's that's been doing wave key or interested in getting better at surfing. And
Well, I just want to say, thank you for showing us, Brad, because the whole thing is that for me, I've had to reconnect. You got to remember I'm old, and I still, because I froth so much on surfing and whatever comes around riding a wave, the technique and slowing things down the way you do, pulling it back, and then reconnecting the body and the mind so it all sort of flows together in one move. It's like beautiful. The way you've broken it down is beautiful. Like I've got to say, it's and so I've been, pointing people towards your program. Just go do it. Yeah. Don't get into it.
I think that I think if I just when I do it and then I discover something new and I feel like I'm like, man, I wish I knew that when I was a pro.
Yeah,
that's what I keep
you.
thinking. Oh man, if I knew that when I was a pro, I just would have had more leverage because the leverage just makes it so that you don't have to force it. And if you don't have to force it, you can express yourself. If you're forcing it, it's hard to express yourself. And a lot of times you do have to force it in a contest because you're like, I got to get a score somehow, and this wave isn't setting up. Yeah, think about how often the wave doesn't set up for the perfect turn. But if you can get your body into the position where you can release your body, and out of releasing that turn, you can get out of releasing it, you can do it in the turn. You can really, Tom Curran's a classic for it. We see. I got the Olympics on in the background, and Bianca is just shredding. Oh,
yeah,
she's surfing so good.
Bianca's doing really good stuff, and also
she's got a really nice. She's
Carolyn,
got this really nice flow. But man, she must have just got a 9 or something because that wave looked really well timed. But anyway, thanks for the nice words. I'm super excited to bring people into more clarity on what goes into surfing to make you better, to be able to accelerate, to be able to I guess, you do something for a long time. You're like, I want to get better at it. How do I get better at it? And maybe it isn't getting better at doing something spectacular, but maybe it's better at doing something that, we're getting more speed where normally you get hung up, that kind of stuff. So there's a couple comments. But I'm gonna bow out here pretty soon. Brad, if you didn't make so many mistakes as a pro, you wouldn't have knowledge you have. Yeah, no, for sure. If I didn't make the mistakes and didn't have the pain of the failure is the drive. It's driven me to be a teacher, and I'm driven to help people because I don't want them to feel the pain I did. I got a really cool text from one of my students. He told me yesterday, he said, every time thanks so much. I'm so glad you're in my life. It was really touching and cool. But also he said, man, every time we do a session, I have a new excitement for surfing. And that's awesome. That to me is just like, that's it. Especially in the pandemic, we're stuck
right there.
We're stuck surfing the same spots all the time. And to have a new excitement, for surfing is just, you can't really measure what a incredible thing that is,
Enthusiasm, you just fuel enthusiasm. That's the best. You're fueling enthusiasm. That is the best. and inquiry. You're fueling inquiry and enthusiasm. I don't think you can get better than that.
Yeah, the
And then when
enthusiasm.
you get that return, you're going to get that some sort of comment along the way, because your froth is just adding. You're just like giving, giving, giving. It's beautiful.
Well,
And it's
there.
coming from such a beautiful intelligence,
Yeah.
from that sort of, oh, I stuffed up here, I stuffed up there, or I made that and that felt good. Oh, that felt good, and I can articulate it. I personally can't articulate it the way you can. You can
Well,
really
yeah,
articulate
yeah,
it beautifully,
yeah.
which I
I,
think
I
is
think
beautiful.
I think too. I was saying to another student I was working with this morning, I was just like, look, the thing is when your body, when you get so sensitive that your body,
Mm,
you can build the tension into your body on purpose, and
mm,
then you can feel that by releasing that tension, like specifically in a bottom turn, you build your tension as you're dropping down so that you can release it, and
mm,
and if you can release it without effort, and you can get a lot of speed and acceleration out of it. Your body, for one, if you're twisted like this, even if you're sitting on the couch and you're twisted and then you go like that, even that feels good right there. So if you can do that in your surfing, where you make it natural, that you build tension, and then when you untwist it, it results in speed.
yeah.
Then, and you're not doing anything forced, then you yourself on the internal feel, you get this internal like woohoo, and that allows you to, like, that is so valuable, and
Little
that
bubble of
gives you,
froth.
like, it's insane because it gives you the it gives you this kind of inspiration that you can be
Mm,
creative,
mm,
and it sort of allows you, so you get out of this judgment place of where you're like, oh,
yeah.
I'm judging this, oh, that was this good, or that was that good, or I'm practicing, or I'm working on this, or you get out of that space completely and go into this space of expression, and being playful, and
Mm,
exploring and not trying to achieve, and you
mm,
and then something opens up and you're like, oh, I'm just going to do this layback here because I've got the inspiration to be creative. My doesn't matter if I
mm,
make it or don't make it,
mm.
and that, when you're in that zone, that's when you get out of the water going, hey
Yeah, you get
buddy,
a skip in your
hey,
step.
how are you?
Whew.
Oh yeah. Oh, you laugh at things you don't aren't even that funny,
Yeah, it opens you up.
it
Yeah,
opens you up.
which is
It opens you up.
beautiful. Mm.
uh, Man, I got so many cool comments coming
All right.
through.
Yeah, that's lovely. It's good to see people commenting, coming through. Like, you know, we got a pretty kind of tough heat going on here. Gary, you've been watching a little bit of it. It's like the tide's dropping off, making it a little bit
Yeah,
more tricky to kind of pick those peaks that would normally back off. The energy's getting sucked away by the shallowness outside, right?
yeah.
Is
It
that what
looked
it's
like
feeling for you?
I've been concentrating on the conversation and just sort of
No,
looking
same
up
here.
from
I've been
time to
going to and fro. Yep.
time. Yeah, and so when I get, I need to be like, I'm one of those. I have to be not distracted and look. I'm looking at, like, I'm like
Here we go.
looking so closely at the rail and the feet and the body and what it's doing, all stuff. And I just
Mm,
noticed that Bianca had a really nice wave.
mm,
Timing looked really good, and her style looks really nice and pretty. And with all the stuff that's been happening in South Africa, I feel for a
mm.
lot of I feel for them over there,
Yeah.
and this is a nice bright light for them. So you know,
Okay.
it's
They're asking for scores here for the women. It's Björntag is 11, and mine's just sort of gone a bit crap all of a sudden for some
yeah,
reason.
well, it's 11 to 6.67.
6.6, right?
Bianca,
So,
I'm going to say her first name because that's easier. Bianca's winning,
yeah.
and there's about 5 minutes left. So, but what somebody wrote, what's the scariest place you ever surfed? Oh man, I don't know. It's kind of
Oh,
a
you've been out the banks. Like, you've been way out there.
that's probably the
Cortez Banks.
scariest.
How's
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Cortez Bank is probably the scariest place.
Intense.
You know, it's just so big, and there's no lineups, and it's just giant waves. And but also I had the most fun out there too. So it's sometimes scariest. You know, one of the scariest things is paddling is surfing in Reunion Island at a place called St. Pierre, and I had to. It was too big to paddle out of the main spot, so we stupidly just Keith Malloy and I decided to paddle across the river. And as soon as we got into the river to paddle across the river, it was like I've never felt so vulnerable in my life. I was like, oh my God, this feels really, really, really scary. I'm like, Keith, I don't really like this. And he was going, let's just get one, you know, one of those things. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, slow down. I'm like the baby. I'm like the easier one.
Yeah.
He's like a beast paddler. And I'm like, I'm just going, and I'm like, I'm also trying to paddle super smooth. And then I started doing that thing kind of like, remember when, you ever remember that movie Stir Crazy with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder?
Yes.
They went to prison and they're like, hey man, you have to act tough. You have to act like we bad. So I'm literally paddling going, you know, shark, you don't want a piece. That's the only thing I could do. It's like, you don't want a piece of me. You do not want a piece of this. I was sending that energy out there. I don't know if it worked or not, but I'm still here. So that was.
You got legs and arms.
Yeah, that was 1998. So it was during the shooting of Loose Change. But that's probably the scariest, one of the scariest places I surf. To answer your question.
Wow. Well, for me, it was down just down south of Tasmania, about 17 nautical miles south of Tasmania, at a place called Pedra Branca. I went tow surfing there with Ross Clark Jones, and that was hectic. It was so scary. And it was dark and it was unpredictable, and the water was like the way the water was moving around those rocks. It was coming out of such deep water and it's drawing off the reef. When you get pounded there, it was like seemed to be next level power. I got blasted so hard there, and the power in the wave was I really, to be honest, that was one of the scariest places. And we were, like I said, 17 nautical miles off the very southern tip of Tasmania, just in the middle of this ocean. And it had a 115-foot block of like rock that stuck up in the sky, like just went straight up like an office block. And it was just a whole bunch of white bird poop on the top, made it look like it was snowing up there.
And you were with the super sane individual Ross Clark Jones, huh?
Yeah, I was just hanging out with Ross and as you do. Too good.
Oh man,
thanks
God.
a lot, Surf Girls.
You guys must have laughed so hard, huh?
Yeah,
because when you're that scared, when
that
stuff's going on, you can't help it. Parsons and I have laughed so hard about how freaking scared we were. He's just like, dude, were you thinking that way too? And he's like, absolutely. I'm like, thank God, because I thought I was a pussy, you know. And
it's ridiculous. That's what it is. That's why laughing. You go, this is ridiculous. What are we doing?
It's so ridiculous. I'd say the scariest thing that happened to me with tow surfing was out at Cortez Bank. I didn't forget it. I had a bag of like supplies, booties, and this and that, and food and everything. And my little bag, I had 2 sets of booties, must have fallen out of my bag as I was on my way to the boat. And when we got all the way out there on the big day, it looks like boot tags in the final
for gold medal.
That's incredible. Congratulations, South Africa. Must be fired up.
Yes.
That's really cool. And I think Emsley's their coach. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard Greg Emsley's their coach.
Right.
And he's got an interesting technique of he really opens that. He really has his chest like parallel with the nose of the board, and and has his leading arm way over here. So there he is on screen. He's going like this. Oh, that's so cool. I love seeing that. That's one of my favorite things is watching people. So did you see the guy yesterday with the swimmer, Dean Boxall or whatever? He's the coach of the Ariane Titmus who won the gold yesterday.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
And
he just went
completely
crazy.
How was that? How cool
That
is
was
that?
pure.
All that
That's
work.
Yeah.
All that work, years of work. It's not just like it. You just we don't. Yeah, if we're not familiar, particularly swimming training. It's like
That looks arch.
so tough.
That looks. I'm so stoked. I went for surfing instead of swimming.
So,
For
how
obvious
thankful
reasons.
for surfing.
But
I mean, I do swimming, and I just I do an hour and a half swimming. It's like nothing. These guys, there's a group that come like we kind of supersede a group in the pool, and they've been in there already for like 3 hours, 4 hours. I'm going really, and they're fired up still. They're doing their thing, and they're just I just go. These guys have to work hours and hours and hours to shave, and feel that shaving of like 100th of a second off, just maybe less. Right?
yeah, no, it's insane. Well, cool. This has been it's been fun. It's a little just this was a first, doing sort of a simulcast, I guess, kind of.
Yeah.
And wanted to do it from a different perspective than, Barton's got to do it in such a way to where he's trying to explain to the world, what surfing is, what's difficult, what isn't difficult, and all those kinds of things. And I thought I'd do something that was more for people who already know about a lot of stuff, but want to learn more about the intricacies and stuff. So thanks for coming on. I always love talking with you.
I love
you,
seeing you.
Tommy.
When I saw you on live, I'm tapping in, checking out, especially with what was coming up. But a big one coming up now. We got Carissa Moore.
Yeah, Carissa and Suzuki.
Suzuki,
I think it's gonna be a good heat. She's got the whole country, man. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna sit back and watch
How's the
this.
beach start? It's not a beach start. It's just a water start. They get out there, and there's a certain amount of time to get out.
Someone said, I paddled in front of you at Grandview and you got mad. Well, I'm not perfect. I can't remember. I can't remember the situation, so I couldn't have got that mad, but anyway. Well, I'm not mad. I'm not mad anymore. I promise.
Yeah. That was a long time ago. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Well, good chatting, Tommy. I'll talk with you soon. We'll have to get on another Zoom and get and advance this stuff for you. And
Thank you very
be
much.
well
Brad.
down there in Sydney.
Yeah, lots of love to Anna and the kids, and we'll tune in as we go.
Thanks, buddy.
See everybody. Thanks for coming by. Aloha Surf Girls. We'll see you for the North Shore Boy 101. You. God, just seeing a few crew that come on the meditations, so it's pretty cool. But
that's great.
We'll tune in. Yeah.
See you, bro.
See you, guys. See you, mate.